Okay, looks like I'm actually live. Let me actually check if that's true though. Let's see. Let me actually check if that's true though. Let's see. Okay, looks good. Yeah, I want to do a live stream today instead of actually record a video because, man, I'm just tired and feeling kind of lazy. But just wanted to quickly run through, gold, how we're doing in terms of gold price right now. Is my bias still kind of bearish? We'll talk about that. Go through Bitcoin a bit. Sorry, right now I'm actually looking at the silver chart. I'll also quickly touch on this, but I just wanted to kind of do a general market update. Nothing's really planned. I'm just going to kind of go through how I'm sort of seeing things right now. I haven't really looked too much at the chart, honestly, for today. So I guess you're going to kind of see me just kind of go through everything and see what I'm kind of looking at overall. Okay, let's start with gold. So right now I'm actually on the day chart. And yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty strong bounce here, which is, I mean, I guess it's to be kind of expected when you dump like we like we did. So, it kind of is what it is. Let's go to a lower time frame right now. Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah, so just to give you an idea of what I'm kind of seeing here right now, let's see if this actually plays out. So actually, when I did the video talking about how I expect price to really go over, or basically yesterday, I think it was. That's when the trades were happening. Yeah, yesterday. I was saying that how we wanted to really look at the kind of levels around 1775, and then particularly this price range of around 1760 to 1765, somewhere like that. And, oh, by the way, if anybody's actually watching this, feel free to leave a question. I'll answer it. But anyway, the point is that, yeah, so when we actually initially dumped all the way to this level of around 1775, we actually started seeing some resistance, as you can see from the wicks on the hourly candles here. I mean, if we also went to the 15-minute chart, it's going to be even more obvious. Yeah, you see, we started seeing some sort of demand here to buy gold at these prices. And yeah, although we did break further down, let me go back to the hour chart because I really don't like looking too much at the 15 anymore. And although we did eventually break down to this next level that I was talking about on the chart here, this support level of 1760, yeah, we got as low as 1766, I want to say 1767. Okay. Yeah. That's where we actually saw some, more serious buy side pressure. And now we're kind of seeing that, I think, classic, like when you have these kind of, big moves, we're seeing that classic pullback. If I were to probably actually draw out the fib right now, we probably now at this point when we hit 1796 got pretty close to almost a 0.5 type of level. And man, honestly, at least from what I'm seeing right now, I mean, we're about an hour away from the U.S. opening, but man, price action looks really nice, honestly. I actually had a sell limit set at 1798 and it didn't trigger. So I was expecting price to actually pull back a little bit more. But it seems like it's pulled back to 1796, and now we're seeing that um, retest back down to lower levels. And at least from what I can see so far on the chart, price is looking pretty good right now in terms of almost like confirming the bearish, or my switch to kind of like a more bearish trend. If we see here, what we really saw is that really nice down till the 1760 level, and now obviously we've made this reverse here. let me get a little closer. We've made this reverse here, and now this previous support is looking like it's become now resistance, right? So that's really, really nice price action to see. So let's see how far we're going to go down this time. I would hope that we're going to get back to the 1760 level, test this a bit, but then eventually kind of break through and then kind of repeat a same pattern where we maybe make this 1760 level support. This hourly candle that's breaking out here right now, obviously it's not, closed yet, but this hourly candle is definitely looking like it's confirming a further downward price action, and it's almost like a confirmation, like, okay, this was kind of that classic initial pullback to make the previous support resistance, as we can see here, and now it looks like we may be trending further down. So if we actually do break down below 1760, what's the kind of next key level that I'm looking for? The 1750 level for sure, which we previously made, or previously was resistance on the way up, support here, so forth, resistance here. This is definitely going to prove to be another pretty strong level, and we'll have to see how price really reacts if it hits that point, and see what kind of price action we're going to get after that. As I mentioned in the video that I did yesterday, I think the outcome of the Fed meeting was, probably the worst possible outcome in terms of gold price, and for the reasons that I listed. But point being is, I still don't know exactly how low we're going to go. I mean, we've made quite a significant pullback here in terms of gold price, and you know it's really tough to say, like, are we just going to continue bombing lower and lower and lower? I mean, price doesn't typically react like that, and we still have to remember deep down that the reality is interest rates still didn't rise, and all these different things. Interest rates are still extremely low. They're still purchasing about 120 whatever million assets per month, or whatever it is, the number. So the environment still right now is, you know, relatively, or could support a bullish gold. And really all that this bearish price action that's happening is purely based on, hints from the Fed, right? Which obviously, like I mentioned before, can move markets like crazy. I'm just saying I don't know necessarily how far it's going to go, and if we're actually going to break further down this 1750 price level anytime soon. That we really, really have to see. So yeah, I could also see a scenario where once we potentially get back down to 1760, 1750, if we see this kind of price action, we do actually kind of consolidate here while, further economic events occur. We'll have to see how next week, if people are going to still continue being super bullish on the DXY and the dollar, right? As we can see here on the DXY chart, yeah, we really are kind of trending to this 92.5 level that I outlined before. So, you know, I mean, I think at this point it's pretty clear that we're going to, like, the trend has obviously reversed bearish for gold, but I think really now the key question, of course, is, like, how long is this really going to last? The reality, of course, you have to always remember that, particularly something with gold tends to like to still, like, on very, very, very long time frames, make um, higher lows, right? And it's something that just over time continues to go up. So, I mean, do I expect us to, for example, do something pretty crazy, like, let me break this double bottom that we had previously made before? That's definitely tough for me to say right now, and there's a lot of other economic events happening over the coming weeks, which could either potentially signal that we may do that, or it could signal otherwise that we may not, right? As I mentioned, there's a very, very key Fed meeting happening in August. And that's one late August, and that's one really, really to look out for next. But I mean, even next week, Powell is testifying again. I'm not saying that he's going to say anything necessarily that's going to really affect the market even more during that meeting or during that press conference, right? But surely it could happen, right? There is a good chance that it could happen. We have to respect that fact. So, let's just see what really happens, and let's just see over the coming weeks. I'm not going to try and necessarily just predict mindlessly and speculate where the market is going to go. I'm just going to see what the market is really kind of showing us and the events that happen, and then just kind of see how everything really plays out. Well, wow, yeah, we're now really seeing that strong confirmation of a lower gold here, of continued bearish price action on the hourly chart. This looks really good. I wish I had my sell position triggered here. It is what it is. How would I potentially trade this right now? I would want to see if we can potentially see a little bit more of a pullback. So almost it's like another confirmation to a level bit higher. Once we hit 1775, and then maybe potentially take a sell limit position there, with a stop loss just above 1800 at like a level of 1806 or whatever, and then aim for a profit taking level of 1760 or 1750. I think that could be something that's interesting. I'm not just going to just jump into this candle though right now. That's obviously not smart. I kind of missed the opportunity, and it is what it is. It's just good to really see that there seems to be a confirmation of like further bearish price action, which is what is should be expected. Looking at yields also got a pretty strong bounce up. It actually yields corrected pretty strongly at a point in time, but now that the market's about to open, or we're about 1 hour from pre-market opening, um, that's typically when real movement starts happening, the U.S. market, especially evolving around gold. So yeah, this looks like we're gonna. I wouldn't surprise me if today we did see a retest of 1760 for sure. Okay. Um, Anyways, I think that's all to do with gold for the moment. I will obviously do more content over the weekend, maybe on Sunday, kind of going also through like the key potential economic events in the next week, and see how everything is going to go, and see also highlight any potential trade setups, see what we can really find out. But like I said, one potential trade setup that I'm looking for right now, if we saw price bounce a bit off 1775 and have a pullback to about 1790 or so for a bit, before the US opens right now, that could definitely be interesting, with the stop loss, like I said, at around 1805, 1806. And let's just see how that plays out. It is what it is. Okay. One thing I did want to actually point out, and I was looking at this a bit earlier before I just went on the stream here. Um, Man, silver is definitely starting to look very interesting in terms of potential price levels to purchase silver at. Now, of course, the news that came out, or the event with Fed, obviously was pretty bearish for silver prices too, right? Silver is also another classic store of value, and classic hedge against uh, the dollar or fiat currency, right? But obviously, silver also has more natural demand in terms of you know, actual the actual economy. Silver is a commodity that's actually used to produce things, unlike gold, which is really kind of like a pure store of value. So, especially if we also see more positive economic data come out over the coming next days or weeks, which are really in favor, of stronger economic growth, et cetera, more trade happening between countries and all these different types of things. Um, I mean, I don't see why necessarily that we need to be as bearish on silver as on gold. And another thing from a technical standpoint, if we're looking at the day chart, and we kind of have this massive wedge that's been forming for a while, we got a pretty strong bounce off that trend line exactly, right? Today. So people are definitely eyeing this level. There's also that natural level of the 200 day. So um, I'm not really interested in kind of swing trading silver, but I'm more interested in just potentially taking like a very, very long-term position on silver. It would be kind of like a nice little punt to maybe take something if it any something in this kind of area here. Who knows? Because like I said, the economics behind silver are not necessarily the same as gold, even though they do share a lot of similarities. So that could be something of interest to potentially go long on. But anyway, I'm just going to see how everything plays out. I'm not nearly as experienced with silver as with gold, so I'm just going to kind of see how everything goes in terms of price. I'd much rather see price get to that level and then there being kind of like a stronger confirmation back up and then maybe getting in there. I'm not going to just take pure risk and just put like a buy limit there and just, hope that price shoots up. I don't think that's exactly the smartest thing to do. Okay, let me remove that crap. Anyway, let's also quickly now jump into crypto. I'm going to take a look at the crypto markets. Okay, I mean, more sideways action. Looking at the day chart here on Bitcoin, yeah, we got rejected pretty hard again at that key level, and now we broke back below the 21 day. Let's see if we can make this former trendline support. Right now, we still are. Frankly speaking, there's just not a lot going with the crypto market as well. So, sorry, somebody's ringing the phone. So yeah, I mean, although I'm definitely not necessarily, like I'm still more in the mindset that, I'm more bearish right now on crypto than bullish. Or put it this way, I'm not trying to take like any long positions on crypto right now anytime soon. I still think that there's potentially more downside in terms of crypto. Just looking at the charts, at the very least, even if Bitcoin is just going to continue going sideways for the next few weeks and months between 30,000 and 40,000, I mean, am I really interested just buying a long position at 30,000 and then just holding till 40,000 and for it to only go back down? Like, I'm not really sure, especially if there's, I still think potentially a good chance that we could get lower than 30,000, I mean, we have to respect that possibility with where we just are in price right now. Um, there's no real volume. I mean, if you look at any of those random stupid fear indexes, yeah, it says it's extremely fearful as well. I mean, yeah, and of course, like, there's always that saying you should do what's opposite to the market. But I mean, sometimes you just have to, again, just because I have a very strong bullish bias on crypto doesn't mean that I have to, like, therefore just buy every single dip like a jackass. And that's just kind of how I feel about crypto right now. I'm not really sure, again, where the catalyst is going to come from. I mean, look at the volume, okay? And I understand bots and everything, blah blah blah. Okay, you don't need to give me that shit, but I mean, just look at the volume levels compared. I mean, it just shows you that there's just less interest in this market right now, And I also think that in terms of the actual economic environment at the moment, I'm not sure necessarily if people are just going to continue taking massively risky gambles on just putting a lot of money into crypto at these levels, expecting it to go to like those ridiculous, value estimates of like 150 or 200,000. And, I mean, maybe people are, but it doesn't seem like it's happening at this price. I mean, that's for fucking sure. I mean, look at this volume and look at this price action. I mean, it is what it is, right? And again, you can also look at every fucking um, model, yes, Wyckoff model, blah, 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 blah. But okay, like even if the Wyckoff model is true and we're just actually in a phase where we're just really accumulating here, or traders are really accumulating here, um, why then am I going to accumulate here when it just, even in that situation, we're probably still going to be going sideways for quite some time, right? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's just my general feeling on it right now. Let's see what happens over the coming days. Really, Bitcoin's price is pretty goddamn boring right now. Um, I do want to mention something. For example, I was looking at this one video here um, from this guy Data Dash, right? Sorry for that shit. And you know that it's kind of like desperate almost when you see like big YouTubers like this releasing these fucking um, clickbaity ass titles. Bitcoin $200,000 catalyst. Will there be a Bitcoin ETF? Blah blah blah. Dude, okay. I've actually followed this guy for quite some time since I first got into crypto back in 2017 or whatever. He was talking about Bitcoin ETFs fucking 4 years ago. Okay. And look how he's just look at almost like the shilling nature of everything. That's just kind of like a sign which just really shows you that like, man, like I feel like a lot of these YouTubers at this point are just kind of grasping at straws because they obviously suffer a lot when there's like a bear market going on. Or not bear market necessarily, but like not very bullish price action. It's just the reality. And like the last time he was talking about ETFs was actually at the last cycle top. So you take it for what it is. But I mean, to put out these kind of videos, it's just like, man, you're just leading a lot of people on. That's just really, really real. So that stupid fucking video. So we need to understand that fact. Okay. Quickly, last thing, going to look at ETH and just generally altcoins. Let's go into the dominance charts. So we've kind of been testing this, we're still stuck at 45%, but like I said, if Bitcoin is just going to continue going sideways or, have further downside action, I've mentioned this in another video, Bitcoin dominance is definitely also going to increase. Okay. Also, on the other hand, if you believe that Bitcoin is actually going to somehow actually go up in value from some sort of catalyst or whatever in the coming weeks, Bitcoin dominance is still going to increase. Okay. So I just, no matter which way you look at it, I just still really don't think this is the time to be buying altcoins. I mean, period. And this, I'm saying this as a massive, massive ETH bull. Somebody who has like I've mentioned in a couple of other videos, like my biggest holdings in crypto are definitely in ETH. I'm a big believer of it and very, very long term in the project. Um, but does that mean I still have to buy it at a level of $2,288 when I could definitely see this retesting at the very least 2,000, or at the very least 1.6, right? So, I mean, would also a pullback to 1.6 be really that unrealistic, given how far we've gone up? I mean, I don't think so, you know. And I'm still very bullish on the fact that, with EIP 5059 coming out and all those other developments coming, yes, I do think that we're going to break this all-time high that we saw before at some point in the future again. But I think we also have to stop and really think to ourselves, does the do most speculators of ETH right now really give a fuck if ETH is continuing to make these types of developments? Man, the unfortunate reality is that probably not that many people give a fuck, and probably not enough, especially if they were buying in at these kind of levels. Okay, I'm not sure if they really gave a shit. Okay, as somebody like us or me or whoever is watching this and is like much been in the market for quite some time and are actually bullish on it, we've been in this market for a while, so for us it's kind of like whatever. But for some people who maybe got in on this massive run up here, do you think they really give a fuck about EIP 5059? We have to really think like that sometimes. Like, don't let your bias dictate you. Don't die by your bias. I think that's really, really important to think about. um, yeah, so anyway, I mean, we're still going sideways, but I'm just saying that would I personally start buying altcoins right now with the expectation that like next week it's going to go back up to like levels past 3.2, 3.6? No, definitely not. Not right now. And don't even get me started on shitcoins. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Anyway, that's it for the stream today. I'll actually try and do a proper video over the weekend, on different subjects. I actually want to start doing reaction videos as well to some of the other YouTubers in the space and get my opinions on their opinions, if that makes any fucking sense. Anyway, I'm going to have some dinner. So take it easy, guys.